Wanted to make sure that students know where the materials are within the module that can be used to help you when you're answering the chapter reviews, and certainly should be used to help you as you're learning the content. So here I am at our course site in Student View. This is child development. Again, organization is very similar for human development. I strongly recommend going to your work from modules. Don't go from the calendar or somewhere else, or else you might skip some of the content that's going to be important. So I'm going to scan down here, scroll down here to Module 2. That's the module that just was completed and submitted. And as I was explaining those two questions from the review, I made reference to the fact that I had some links and information in the module. And so I want to show you what I'm talking about. So if we look here, this part, getting started with genetic foundations. So this takes me to the Getting Started with Genetic Foundations page. Within Module 2, this particular page is set up with a number of different tabs. And so I mentioned a couple of times, if you look at the tab on the page in the module, that's what I mean. So if we look here at Basic Genetic Inheritance, it gives you a reminder of where that information is in your text. And then I provide a number of different linked videos. Sometimes the materials that I'll link will be other sites that might have interactives or have additional content. Like this My 46 actually is not a video, but it's a site with information from University of Washington about genetics. But in the explanation video, I mentioned the Khan Academy videos. Those are here, and that's where he goes ahead and uses in his examples the Punnett squares rather than those diagrams that we saw in our text. So if you wanted to review that, that's where you'd find those. I also mentioned the Basic Genetics Review Google Slides that I created. That's what you'll find here. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the Google Docs site. And so you can see this is Basic Genetics Review. Click down here for next slide. I created these slides to be interactive. So if you wanted to review some of the terminology, which we did in the discussion of the review, what is the phenotype? Phenotype means what does it look like? We can see here blue eyes, so phenotype is blue eyes, and I can check that. So yes, phenotype, observable characteristics of her eyes are blue. And then genotype, her genotype, we know she has blue eyes. If we know that blue eyes are recessive to dark eyes or brown eyes, then we know she has to have two recessive genes. So genotype is the genetic makeup. Since her eyes are recessive or blue, we know that she has to have two recessive genes. And you can go ahead and check all of those different questions out and test yourself. I create these slides in most of the modules, okay? And here is where I was saying that you'll find an example very similar to the one that was on the review. So in this case, we have a mother who has brown hair and a father who has blonde hair. That's like what we just looked at. But you're not told here, rather, this brown hair, which is a dominant characteristic, rather the mom is heterozygous or homozygous. So you look at the answer here, you'll see, well, it depends. Is mom homozygous or is mom heterozygous? Because the possibilities for her children, her offspring, are going to vary depending on what her genetic makeup is. So try to go through and provide explanation. So you can go ahead and look at these slides going over the different kinds of inheritance, and then when you're done, you can end. So again, just wanted to make sure students knew where to look for information. Again, I mentioned the videos that I had linked in the Reproductive Choices tab. So talking about screening tests and diagnostic tests. Again, screening tests just assess relative risk, or are there indications of abnormal results that you wouldn't expect if everything was okay. And diagnostic tests, if you either have some type of reason such as advanced maternal age or family history of a problem, or if you get abnormal results from one of the screening tests, then you would want to get actual, accurate, detailed genetic information, and you would do that with the diagnostic testing. And again, ultrasound would guide the needle for an amniocentesis. So the amniocentesis and the chorionic villus sampling would be the two most common types of that accurate genetic diagnostic testing that can be done. Okay, just wanted to make sure everybody knew where to find the information I was referencing.